Here we go. John McClain, Hall of Fame NFL columnist, joins us on Sikkim 365 Radio and 365 Sports. John, we apologize. We had to bump you back because of Scott Drew.
Well, I think I'm going to be bumped back. That's a pretty good guy to be bumped back for. And speaking of Scott Drew, I'm at the Omni Hotel in Houston for the annual Baylor Night in Houston for Dave Randa to talk here to a whole lot of Baylor alums. And right now, Dave Randa and Scott Drew doesn't get much better than that.
Well, absolutely the case. In fact, we had the Touchdown Club executive director, Neil Farmer, on the show to discuss that tonight as well. John McClain, Houston Chronicle, former Houston Chronicle, retired now NFL columnist and Hall of Famer.
John, now that you are retired from the NFL, you can dive more into other things. How are you? How deep are you into the Astros right now in the run that they're on the AL West? It looks like they're going to run away with it to me.
Well, I'm not retired from the NFL. I'm only retired from the Chronicle, and I'm on the air 4 days a week here in Houston, so I have to stay on top of everything, as I always have, especially the Astros, which Astros are my favorite team. I've never tried to hide the fact that I'm a fan since I didn't cover them, but I talk about them on the radio a lot, and they probably wish I didn't, because when they're bad, I get angry, like most fans do, but I have a forum, a platform to take it out on them. But they've won 3 in a row, and I've settled down. So, yeah, they got a 4.5 game lead on the Angels. I think people around baseball are tired of the Astros winning the division, going to the playoffs, even the World Series. They'd like to see a new team. And because of Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon and some of the Angels, a lot of people would like to see them win the division, but I don't think it's going to happen because the Astros are not hitting. When the Astros players, almost all of whom are hitting below, way below their career averages, when they crank up the bats to go along with the pitching, there's a good chance they're going to run away with the division.
John, what do you think the odds are of Aaron Donald hanging up his cleats?
Give me a break. Jeez, what? You got to be stupid or naive to buy all that BS about Aaron Donald going to hang it up, and at the same time talks about his contract. Give me a break. Aaron Donald, besides being a great player, one of the greatest in history, I'll guarantee you it means a lot to him to have a chance to be the only player in NFL history to be voted NFL Defensive Player of the Year 4 times. He shares that award with J.J. Watt and Lawrence Taylor. And as competitive as he is, as prideful as he is, he would love to win that. And, he'd love to win another Super Bowl. But the odds are against them doing that.
John, have you seen the movie Top Gun Maverick?
I sure have. I saw it on Labor Day. I saw it in a theater where everything was extra loud, and I thought the flying sequences were the best I've ever seen in a movie. And my wife won't go to an IMAX because she gets busy. But some lazy afternoon in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to the IMAX down the street and watch it again. And I feel like I'm right in the middle of the cockpit. I think it cost the producer, Jerry Bruckheimer, $13,000 an hour to be able to use the jets. And they made sure people knew Tom Cruise never touched a control.
Like I said earlier, John, I saw it as well. It's fantastic. Say what you will about him being part of a dangerous religious cult, but the dude knows how to make a movie. I mean, there's not too many bad ones in Tom Cruise's repertoire. You go to IMDb.
Did you see the story last week? Somebody went through every movie he's made and figured up how many times he sprinted in a movie. And it was like 49 out of 52. And they interviewed all these track experts about his sprinting style. They interviewed experts that somehow measured that he hit 23 miles an hour. And it was hilarious reading that story. But it was unprecedented when it came to Tom Cruise. And I've been a fan of his going back to All the Right Moves with Craig T. Nelson when he was a high school football player up in Eastern Pennsylvania. And I've been a fan of his a long time, and I'm glad to see him hit it big. This movie was made 4 years ago.
I did not know that it had been,
Yeah.
I guess, on hold because of COVID. Is
Yeah,
that
they had
right?
to do a lot of post-production. Yeah, right, John?
They filmed it in 2018, and I believe it was to their benefit that COVID caused this long delay because it built up the hype.
Yep.
And there haven't been a lot of blockbusters released. You know, there's no big summer blockbusters in May and June anymore, and it's it, and it's making all kinds of money. And you don't have to like Tom Cruise to like it. I think if you're interested in the flying and Top Guns and what it's all about, I think you should go see it. But if you have any kind of motion sickness, take a Dramamine.
John, I did want to ask you real quick about rookie contracts. I mean, Baylor had that record class as far as the number of selections, and two guys still remain unsigned at this point, Tyquan Thornton and J.T. Woods. They were relatively highly drafted. What typically is holding that up at this point?
Language in the contract. It happens every year with some players that come after the first round. It will get done.
One more thing, John. The NFL teams had their rookie camps or whatever you want to call them, and then there's some OTAs, whatever they're called these days. Did anything come out of that at all from the Texans? Anything Lovie Smith say that hit your radar?
Absolutely not. They're OTAs. The mini camp is the only thing that's mandatory. It's in 2 weeks, 3 days in the middle of the week. Then players are off from the middle of June till probably the middle of July. Coaches don't take off that much. And the only thing I watch at this point of the year, quarterbacks, receivers, and defensive backs, because you can't touch each other. Mm-hmm. They're not wearing pads. And so you look at, you like to watch the receivers, the DBs, and, of course, every time he's on the field, I'm watching Jalen Petrie. And I'm talking him up like crazy down here. Nobody believes me when I already say he looks like a veteran. And he doesn't, but I can say that all I want.
All right, enjoy the night with Baylor at the Omni in Houston at the Galleria. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Sick 'em, guys.
By the way, mandatory minicamp for the Texans June the 14th, 15th, 16th, then the break, and then they start training camps at the end of